So you're still having problems getting those emotions under control? Then you want to listen to this. Hello, Overcomer. I'm so glad you made your way to this video today. I'm Andrew Freed, and I want to be a source of encouragement, enlightenment, and empowerment in your life so that you can have a more happier and successful life while drawing closer to God. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about the emotionally intelligent church. Yep, that's right. I went there. So my purpose in making this video is to help you understand the role and impact that your emotions have on your behavior and to give you some tips to help manage those emotions until your change comes. Because most of your behavior is either habitually driven or emotionally driven. Most people don't do what they want to do. They do what they feel like doing. So I want to start out with this quote by Tony Evans. He said, if you can control your thoughts, you can control your emotions. And if you can control your emotions, then you can break every addiction, stronghold, and bondage that comes into your life. Now, I know that to be true because at one point I had alcohol addiction, and it was all about emotions at that time. And typically it's those unwanted emotions. And those unwanted emotions are those emotions that are self-centered and always focus on you. And that's where the problem lies. When you're acting out of your emotions drive your behavior, you're really acting out of the flesh, you're focusing on yourself, and you become damaging to others. So controlling your emotions requires change, and change only occurs when you renew the mind. Now, renewing the mind is a process that takes time. So the idea here is to manage your emotions until your change has come. Now, if you don't manage your emotions while you're attempting any type of change, then that change will be short-lived. So it's very important that you understand this, and this is why. Most every sin that enters your life or every unwanted reality in your life that's a result of your irrational behavior usually comes through the emotional door. Now, I want to show you this in the Bible. So we go to Genesis chapter 4, and we talk about the story of Cain and Abel. And you know how the story goes. God required an offering from Cain and Abel. Abel brought the firstborn, but Cain just brought some fruit. So God had respect on Abel's offering, but he didn't have any respect for Cain. And Cain got pissed. And look at what God said. We pick it up in Genesis chapter 4, verse 6. And the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? Why do you look sad and depressed and dejected? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin crouches at your door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it. So let's look at this. God said that Cain, you look angry emotion, sad emotion, depressed emotion, and dejected emotion. And he said, sin is crouching behind your door. What door is he talking about? The door of sadness, anger, depression, and dejection. In other words, the emotional door. Now, from my own experience and from the experience of others, and if you think about it, when sin has entered into your life, usually it came through by way of an emotion. You got angry and you said something. You got sad and you didn't do something. You got overly frustrated and you quit something. Now, I don't know what that something is, but what I do know, usually that behavior was driven by an emotion, and as a result, sin had entered in your life. When your behavior is driven by your emotions, usually you have poor decision making, irrational thinking, impulsive behavior, and the results of a dysfunctional lifestyle. God's desire for you is for you to develop to the point where you can experience these emotions without having them drive your behavior or you being identified by them. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know it to be true. It is impossible for you to mature spiritually while remaining immature emotionally. I'm going to say that again. It's impossible for you to mature spiritually while remaining immature emotionally. Now, I'm not talking about being gifted. I'm not even talking about being anointed, because I know some anointed people who have been pretty immature in their behavior. I'm talking about developing the mind of Christ so that you can experience these emotions without allowing these emotions to drive your behavior. So if you're ever going to get a grip and fight your crazy and win, you're going to have to get a grip on those emotions. Now, emotional intelligence is the awareness of the emotional polarity of any given situation, be it either individual or in a social setting, and having the ability to choose the behavior that you want that will bring the best outcome. You see, some emotions you can't pray away. In fact, in many places in the Bible, when it refers to emotions, God said, be that. In fact, Jesus, the Prince of Peace, he never laid hands on a person to be at peace. Either he drove out the tormentors, he drove away the illnesses, and the result was peace. But he never prayed for a person to be at peace. Why? Because peace is a human commodity. Your emotions are your emotions, and you own them. And you also have the ability to manage and control them until changes come. So what I want to do now is give you several tips to help you manage your emotions while you renew your mind and your change becomes permanent. Tip number 1, be aware of your emotions. Learn how to identify your emotions at any given time. You know, most people can't identify the emotions specifically I'm talking about. Less than 36% of the population can really identify the emotion that they're feeling at the time that they're feeling it. Usually they throw a vague and general term at it. They would say something that if they were frustrated, they'd say, I'm angry. When in reality, they're frustrated. This inability to identify your specific emotion is called low emotional granularity. That's the ability to identify specific emotions that you're going through. I know one thing that I began to do several years ago that helped me manage my emotions were I looked at my emotions from the third person. It's called going from a participant to an observer. So basically, when you're in any type of emotional state, you kind of step out of yourself and look at yourself and the interaction that you're having as if you're watching it on a movie screen. If you can do that, then that gives you the ability to analyze what you're seeing. And if you can analyze your emotions, then you're better apt to be able to manage them. Tip number 2, accept your emotions and even embrace them. Mindfulness is being in the moment and accepting what's in the moment without judging it. You want to be able to accept whatever emotions that you have. In fact, I don't even like to say positive or negative emotions. I like to say wanted or unwanted emotions because your emotions are yours. They're a part of you. The more you try to repress your emotions, the more you empower your emotions to control your behavior from behind the scenes. It's just waiting for a trigger. In fact, repressed emotions tend to hijack you. Emotional hijacking occurs when an emotion is triggered by some event or memory, and it takes control, and it's almost as if you have no control of what you're saying and what you're doing because you're so emotionally driven. So you don't want to repress any emotion. When you experience an emotion, in fact, you want to identify and say, okay, I'm angry. Okay, I'm jealous. Okay, whatever the case may be. And it's okay. I'm jealous and it's okay. But I'm not going to let this jealousy control me. Tip number 3, get the message that your emotions are trying to give you. Often when we experience unwanted emotions, it's because an external truth has collided with our internal belief. The traumas, the limiting beliefs, and even the distortion of reality all can trigger emotions. And these emotions can, if not managed properly, could drive our behavior. So when you feel these unwanted emotions, anger, rejection, frustration, sadness, take some time to analyze yourself and find out why. What's causing me to be so angry? This person didn't even do something. Why am I so jealous? Or why am I so envious of this? And look into going deeper and identifying what are the things or what memories are triggering this emotion that I'm feeling. The next tip is talk it out. Many times emotions get repressed because we don't voice them and we don't talk it out. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to voice everything. In fact, the Bible said a wise man conceals some of his feelings. That means he doesn't speak everything out. A lot of times when you speak and when you're angry, you're just kindling more anger. But I'm talking about when you identify yourself as being angry or identify an emotion that you really don't want, you need to talk it out and talk through it. And it'll help you go deeper to the root cause of that emotion. And tip number 5, invite the Holy Spirit to help. Holy Spirit is a helper. He wants to help you manage your emotions. He wants to help you renew your mind so you can control your emotions. Holy Spirit will come and he help you and he empowers you at the point of decision. What does that mean? That means this. Right at the point where I can choose to be angry or I can choose to be happy, he comes and he gives you strength to make the right choice. Remember, emotional intelligence is the awareness of emotional polarities, positive and negative, wanted and unwanted. And it's the ability to choose the one that you desire. And if you feel like you're powerless, Holy Spirit will empower you to choose the right emotion and manage those behaviors. Hey, I hope this video has been a blessing to you. I know I've enjoyed it. Just studying emotions is one of the things I love to do. If this video has been a blessing to you, why don't you go ahead and hit my subscribe button so you'll be notified when the next video comes out. And again, if it's been valuable to you, please, why don't you consider sharing it with others. I'm Andrew Freed. So until the next time, I hope this video is giving you enough to help you fight your crazy until your changes come. Be blessed.